Yeah,
So
it definitely, like, you do feel everything when
yeah.
you're a mom, because like I'm gonna cry. You
No,
just
where I like talk myself into it and then I talk myself right out of it. And maybe that's just like my ADHD brain that just like thinks of every possible scenario. So then I'm like, oh, but then I just can't do it. Yeah.
yeah.
So, oh,
What's so crazy
but
is
see,
like
that's,
we talked about when we were going to do the personality test and then the Enneagram test and then this, we talked about how like looking at it as, this is supposed to be like who you were like born to be versus
yeah,
the other ones, like, is that something you were born to be or is that something you've like learned? And I
yeah,
feel like that, this matches up with those other personality tests. I just feel like
yeah.
maybe it took me a little bit longer to get there. It's
I'm not
like,
going to say we're old, but we
yeah,
are,
it's like
I mean,
this
we
is
are
who
in our,
you were supposed to be. It may have
yeah,
taken you all these years to get
a
there,
little bit to get
but
there.
because
Yeah.
I was going back and looking at like the the next episode that's going to air right before this one, and I was like working on the
Yeah.
edits just like yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
I think I said something about, I finally found my people, I found my place, and it's like it's taken
Yeah.
me this
Yeah.
long to get to this,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. It's really interesting too, because I feel like for a long, long time, I felt like this is who I was. And then through college and like pretty much like right out of high school into like late, like almost graduating, pretty much my entire my college lifestyle, I was lost. Like I was so lost. I didn't know who I was. Where most people are like figuring themselves out, like I was losing myself. I was losing myself to a relationship. I was losing myself to like like I wasn't around my family anymore. Like my my core group was made up of like I lost a lot of my friends that I'd had for a really long time. And then I started just having like all of my boyfriend's friends. And that was when I broke up with my college boyfriend was when I decided to get my Leo tattoo, actually. So that was when I realized to myself, like I was doing myself a disservice of not being my truest self
Mm-hmm.
and not being the fun, loving, exciting, loud, narcissistic person I am. I was like this quiet, like, I mean, I had a boyfriend that was like, you need to stop talking so much. Like, you're embarrassing me. So I
uh,
would be like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I would be so belittled, by him. And I would be so ashamed of who I was around him. Like, I would hide the fact that I watched anime from him. Like, there were so many things about myself that I was like, I can't even be myself around him or he won't love me. And I was like stuck in this really bad cycle of being in that kind of relationship where you would just do whatever to make that person happy. And in a time in my life where I should have been like living my best life, and I just wasn't. And so that's why when I got out of that relationship and started finding myself again and being like, oh no, this is who I am. I'm unapologetically myself. And if you don't like that, that's okay. Like not everyone is gonna like everyone. Like this is a big world, and not even just getting
mm-hmm.
angry or like upset that someone doesn't want to be my friend or doesn't want to be around me. It's like I'll just find people who do. It's okay.
Yeah.
And that's when I got my Leo tattoo and like it like really solidified like be true to yourself. And then that's when I met my husband, is when I finally got to that place of like, oh no, this is who I want to be. And if I want someone to love me, I have to be me. I can't just be someone they want me to be. And so, and you're right, you have to learn. Like you have to learn to get to that place.
I feel like Definitely. I'm seeing more and more similarities between you guys in this episode. It's like blowing my mind. Like, don't you think that?
Yeah, I know. It was almost like
It's
hearing
like
my life
your
story come
story.
out of your mouth. And I'm like,
That's so crazy.
what is
You know,
happening? The
it's
only
so
thing is you met a husband, I met a wife. So
yeah, yeah, that's okay. It's so weird though. It's like my sister is a lot like Tori, and she's also married to a woman. So it's just so weird.
yeah,
Our
it's so
sister
funny
episode is
because
like so weird.
Yeah, because you're talking about how you just like found your true self, and growing up in a religious background, you always feel like there's a certain way you have to act, certain things that you have to do. And listen, they talk about preachers' kids, and
Oh, you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like my mom doesn't work for the Catholic Church and was a religion teacher most of my life?
right. So you know what they say about preachers' kids. You always got to act a certain way in public, and then you spend your whole childhood hiding things. You know what I'm saying? And
About yourself?
yeah, about yourself, and like you're sneaking around to have any kind of fun when it comes
The
to
fear.
your
It's a fear.
teenage.
It's a fear.
Yeah,
It's I'm gonna let them down if I let them know this.
and you're
I'll be a
stuck.
disappointment.
Yeah, and you're
Yeah.
stuck in this little box. And for me and my wife have talked about this because for her, she also came from a religious background, but it was a thing where for her being gay was she felt bad about it, and always, but she always knew that she was gay. And so it was always something she had to hide, and it was always something she wished was different because she knew that she wouldn't be able to live up to that expectation of whatever.
Well, there's also that it's also that societal expectation of, I mean, I've met trans people that were like, I wish I didn't feel this way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not how it's supposed to feel. You should just feel okay being you.
Yeah, but see,
Like, you
for
shouldn't
me,
have this societal like. Oh, sorry. I was just like,
No,
we can get rid of that.
no.
We're getting all serious. Let's
she changed the way it looked. But like I told my wife, and I've recently told my mom, who was not super. She has shown me love no matter what. Loves my wife.
Right.
There's no issues there when it comes to her showing love. But
when it came to like,
when it
the initial thing, it happened here.
But I have told her recently, I was like, I've never felt so like just myself. I've never felt so free in my entire life the minute those words came out of my mouth, just because it was like if people who have a problem with it already feel some type of way about the fact that those words came out of my mouth, there's nothing else I'm going to say or do that may disappoint you any more, any less. And quite frankly, I just don't give a shit. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you a late in life?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like,
very
late.
Like 6 years ago.
Yeah, like just a few years ago.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See, my sister, I mean, she could speak more on it, but she was right in college. Like, I mean, I knew since she was like 5 probably, but like I've always known, but I think especially when we were in high school and I was like, don't you want to like go talk to that boy? That boy's totally into you. And she was like, no. But I mean, and then as her life kind of progressed and then she got into college and she felt more comfortable from that pressure of like, I need to hide this part of myself. I'm just going to let myself be whoever I want to be without societal norms or like that. I think one of the girls I watch on YouTube talks about it all the time, but it's like this idea that like being heterosexual is like the norm, like it's a standard.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not even necessarily true. Like, it's who you are. There isn't like you're different because this is what's supposed to be. It's like this is who you are and this is who you are. You're at like a crossroads and you decide on where your path is going to go. It's not supposed to be, well, you're different than everybody else. It's like, no. Like, that's just not how it works. It's just not, that's just not. But if you have that societal pressure or family dynamic pressure, you're going to feel like there is something wrong or, And that's so funny because your Taurus is so loud. You know, it's so, that's so funny that like
Yeah.
you would be so afraid, but maybe you
Yeah.
just had to get there. You know, you just had to get to that place where you did feel comfortable with like, if these people are about to leave my life because of this thing about me, like that's okay.
Right.
Because
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it was to the point where, you know, me and my wife would drive by my mom's house and I'm like, okay, we're going to talk to her. And I would just cry because it was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And then
unknown is scary. The unknown is
it
scary,
is,
especially if you don't know. And if you have a perception of how you think they're going to react,
yeah.
you almost psych yourself out of
Yeah.
like even telling them.
Well, and,
Yeah.
you know, how do I say this? I had other issues too that I was working with at the same time. So, so it was like there was a lot of different changes going on at one time.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be overwhelming too.
Yeah.
And
there
for
was,
others, like I know some people as they're going through it with like a lot of parents, I've noticed parents feel very, I mean, you're a parent, so I'm sure me and Tori always talk about this. Like, we have no idea what it really feels like, but I'm sure it's just like so overwhelming. And
oh my
like,
gosh, it can be.
when your child goes through something, it's almost like you're going through it too, or that like, so I can see how some parents can get so like, my mom told me once that when my sister told her, all she felt was all of the hate that she was going to get from other people, and she wouldn't want that for her daughter. And she knew that there were going to be people out there that were going to now all of a sudden hate her daughter for no reason. And that really hurt her deep, and that she didn't want that for her daughter. And I think that was really scary for my mom at first. And I don't even know if my sister knows that.
It definitely, like, you do feel everything when you're a mom, because like, I'm gonna cry. You just no, because you know, my kids and myself, we've gone through a lot. A lot. And
you're not even that old yet.
No. My 13-year-old is practically 25 at this point.
I love it. I love it. But with all the life experience they have,
you can't see her face, but the niece is right here, and she's like,
talking about me.
She doesn't understand. She's like, got this look on her face, like he's not that old. Like,
but you know, the more things that we've had to go through, you know, and the recent things, you just want to shield them. But you can't. There's some things you just can't shield them from. Get back over there, silly.
Well, to protect them. That's like your protective, like natural, like we're not animals anymore, right? So you wouldn't be protecting them from predators, but you're trying to emotionally protect them. And I mean, we could probably all attest that like you have to kind of go through some of that. Maybe not at the youngest age, you know, maybe there's like a stepping period of like how much you could physically handle at a certain age, but I feel like you can't shield them from that, because how are they supposed to learn what it feels like to not want to do it to someone else, or not to want to make sure, like that self-awareness of like, I know exactly how you feel right now, and I want to console you. If you never have that perspective, you turn into one of those people that are just like, get over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you almost want them to grow into this person that can be more altruistic or have more of these traits that you have of like self-awareness and compassion. Because I don't know, compassion, I don't know. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe there are just like beautiful like people in the world who can just like be that empathic, like I understand how you're feeling right now and I want to be there to support you. Where like I feel like it's only easy for me to be that way if I've gone through the same thing as this other person, if that makes sense.
Sorry.
Teenagers. No, it's okay, teenagers.
Yeah, it's different. Being a mom is something else.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a dog mom, so that doesn't really count.
Well, and People don't really talk about how the older your kids get, the more you see things of yourself in them.
Oh,
Yeah.
But it's like, sometimes you're like, oh, look, they're doing that. That's me. And then other times you're like, okay, that shit's annoying. Don't do that. Now I know how people feel when they're having a conversation with me.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling, because it's one of those things. I talk myself out of kids like every other week, where I like talk myself into it and then I talk myself right out of it. And maybe that's just like my ADHD brain that just like thinks of every possible scenario. So then I'm like, oh, but then I just can't do it. So, but I feel like there's moments of myself that I love. And then there's moments of myself that I'm like, I hate you. So it's like, I know there's like a part of me that will do that towards a child. And that makes me like sick to my stomach, but it's like natural. It's normal. You're cohabitating with this person you created, and they only have you and like their small little bubble of people to mold who they're gonna be, you know? And so, I mean, even me and my husband were like, we can't have a Leo baby. Like,
yeah, playing that shit out.
A Leo baby. Like at this point, it's like I think I need to have a Capricorn baby, because apparently that completes me.
When's your birthday?
Mine's August 7th.
Yeah,
and my husband's is the 15th. We have a
August
birthday
4th.
month. Yeah. Oh, is that your daughter? Is that your daughter's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you saying,
Go ahead. That was creepy.
That was very creepy. Oh my gosh.
Bro,
It's like Children of the Corn creepy.
No, y'all think that
kids are creepy.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
She talks and walks in her sleep.
Like you. That's a trait she got from her.
No,
we could do a whole episode on
oh
sleep
no,
talking.
we're gonna have to bring Tiff. We're gonna have to bring you back for the scary episodes. I tell you, we have so many ghost episodes ready.
Yeah, she like crawled
Possessed.
at me.
Oh no!
Yeah.
No.
And the thing,
like you were scary enough. Like when you talked and walked in your sleep. Like I can't imagine if you crawled at me.
I was in the floor directly across from her.
No, oh, gosh, no.
My sister did that once too. That's so weird. We were on vacation, and my sister. It was the only time me and my sister ever had this happen. We shared a room like my whole life with her, and we were like in the same bed, and my parents were in the other bed, and like my youngest sister was like on the couch, like in a hotel room, and we were at Disney. And I remember being petrified because I was afraid, because we just went on Alien Encounter, which was like a really scary ride in Florida back in the day. It was like around Alien, and it was like this alien and whatever. And so I was only like 8 maybe. And then my sister like got up and started crawling over me to get to the other side of the bed. And I was like, Dad. And he was like, what? I was like, I don't know what Amanda's doing. And he was like, Amanda, what do you do? She's like, I'm just going over here. I'm just gonna go over here real quick. And I'm like, and I was like so afraid. So, like, my dad was a sleepwalker too. So I do think it has something. There's something there. I don't know what. I'm not a sciencey person. So
like
do you lucid dream though, Tiff? Do you like remember your dreams, or do you not remember your dreams?
Oh yeah, sometimes. Like I remember when I was younger, I would have 2 specific dreams, like
reoccurring dreams,
back to back to back. Yeah, and they were terrifying. Well, one of them was really terrifying.
She also had some.
Did you know you were dreaming? Like, did you like become self-aware? Did you know like you were in a dream and you were like stuck in the dream? Or would you just like wake yourself up and remember? It was just kind of
like a deja vu moment. Like,
oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, and it's like it's not like real shit that would have. Well, I hope it wouldn't be like real stuff. That
see, okay, so there's a lot of theories. We could do a whole episode on dreams, but
yeah,
just a little snippet. A lot of people think that dreams are just a different reality of yourself. Like that was a different reality where you chose to do different things, and those things actually did happen to a different version of yourself.
Okay, that's like when you put that spin on it, that makes stuff even scarier.
No,
like, because I've had some dreams. I've had
you in this reality. Well, think of it like, did you guys
I'm
ever
scared
watch
for myself in other realities then, goodness.
Well, no,
That's so compassionate. She's like worried for her.
that's insane to me because that means one person still is. This sounds terrible, but that means that one person dies in both realities.
What?
Yeah. If she has two different dreams or she dies, yeah, definitely. I mean, there's
Not me.
there's an infinite, if you believe in that kind of stuff, there's an infinite amount of realities. Like if you think of it that way, there's an infinite amount. Anytime you've ever chosen to do something, the other version of yourself did choose the other option in every possible scenario. So that's why it's like kind of like you can't think it. You'll get existential on it. Don't overthink it. It's just like, because every decision you've ever made in your life could have been totally different. That's why we talked about this probably like the second or third podcast. I don't even remember now, where I was like, there is another version of myself who's tatted to her neck and is a tattoo artist somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm like, there is another version of myself just living her best life as a little tattoo artist. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I have to put on here, we have to do a tattoo reveal episode because like y'all are just covered and I'm over here with my like one little big tattoo.
I've just got 2. I've just for now.
Oh, okay.
I have 9.
9.
Oh.
How did that happen?
Let's see.
What?
1,
What?
2.
She's like,
We're revealing them all. Wait, save it for the episode.
I know. See, this is what happens. This is what happens. We get like,
We're podcasting.
we can't tease about an episode because all of a sudden we start talking about an episode.
You still
It's 8 or 9. I can't remember how many I have on my back.
I love how you
Why
can
are we
lose count.
blurry?
I love how
I don't
you
know.
also just got a ghost in front of you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you just got another ghost in front of you. All right, well let's end the episode. I want to thank Tiffany. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited to have you on another episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah. And I will make sure, I mean, I don't know. You have the link to this, but you know, we'll try. Hopefully this wasn't too, I'm sure there's an expert out there being like, this girl doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. And then there's
What's the
people out there being
disclaimer
like,
here?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I did great. Maybe I found my calling. Who knows? I don't know.
I feel
I feel like
about it.
yeah, do you? I know. I love how you're like, I feel so good now. I was like, I
Yeah.
think that's what it's supposed to do. I don't know. Maybe my optimistic Sagittarius is just too, you know.
I mean, you can't
Positive
beat
about
this
everything.
Sagittarius.
Oh.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.
Oh, perfect. We did so good. Was that fun? See, that's sweet. That's how we podcast. We just talk.
We just
and
talk.
it just like
Yeah, I know.
goes.
It got real deep, and I was like, wait a minute, what just happened?
I know. It all
That's
makes
how
sense.
it feels, though. It should be organic. It shouldn't. That's
Yeah.
why we just kind of like.
But when I tell you, it really felt like you were just telling my life.
I know.
story
I'm
of
like
this stuff. I
listening
was
to it. I'm like, what? But
what
like,
kind of shit
like,
is this?
yeah.
The
I think that's
sorcery.
why, like you. I'm just like pulling your energy into my brain. No, I feel like everyone goes through very similar things in life, and I think a lot of people are ashamed to talk about things that happen to them, or the self-awareness isn't always there. You know, I think a lot of people are like, wow, it wasn't a shitty college relationship, and I'm like, yeah, but like, what can we learn from that, or what did how did we come out of that in a positive way? And I mean, I like telling my story a lot because I feel like so many other people go through it, and
Yeah, I've definitely told my story more recently.
Yeah. It's taken her a while to be able to even like talk to me about stuff.
Well,
You know
and
what I mean? I
there's
was
still things
there
you
for
don't
some of
know.
it. Yeah, I figured.
There's
Yeah.
there's still things that nobody
Where
knows.
you going?
I gotta sit on my leg. That's
well,
coming.
and that's gonna come with time, right? I mean, like you're gonna be able to become more and more comfortable with it. And I mean, I'm not gonna like intrude too much, but do you see a therapist about talking about it, or at least someone else who you feel like you're not gonna get judged by?
I
Or
won't judge you, but I know you don't want to tell me everything.
Yeah, no, because it doesn't. No, I haven't seen a therapist. Should I?
Don't
100%.
stretch that out.
I've been playing with that this whole
Well,
time. You didn't even notice.
You know, don't.
Oh, give me this now.
Okay.
I need to fidget.
yes, that's fine.
Yeah, no, I should see a therapist because
I think everyone should.
I make the kids go.
I think
to therapy.
everyone
Yeah, the
should.
kids are in therapy right now. So I mean I think
Because
that's helping.
well, and
Well,
it's because as
are
a
you
mom,
putting
I
other
know
people
there's something.
first? Oh, are you putting your children first? Are
Oh,
you
Yeah,
And
well,
taking care of other people?
it's funny because their therapist actually told me one time, he was like, mom can't take care of the kids if mom can't take care of herself.
Sure.
But yeah, and here's the thing. Here's when I knew I needed therapy, even though like I thought I was, over things.
No, you suppress them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
well,
suppress them.
Yeah.
We all do.
Yeah, I was in nursing school and we got to the chapter on domestic violence and abuse and the cycles of abuse. And I was like, wow. And I just went to the bathroom and had to cry a little bit. And then I got home and then I was just a blubbering mess. And I was like, what is wrong with me right now?
Right.
Why am
it just hit you?
Yeah. And
and your emotions are just gonna come. I mean, they're just gonna come.
Oh yeah. It was for like a week. I could not.
Yeah, your body's just like, we need to expel this right now.
Yeah. And I was telling my wife, I was like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I was like, I'm over it. It's done. I'm not in that situation anymore. And she was like, no, it's not done. You never worked.
You never worked through it. Yeah.
And and
or you're never apologizing to yourself about it either.
Yeah. Probably.
Like you're not giving yourself the chance to say like, you also did make it through it. Yeah. And there's also survivor's guilt too, which happens a lot because there are people who get out of it and then feel bad that they've gotten out of the situation and like, why me?
Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily have that type of guilt, but for a long time, I always was like, I always just didn't feel like I needed to talk about it because I didn't end up in the hospital. I didn't end up dead. I didn't end up with black eyes.
You still have scars? No, you still have scars.
Right. Yeah, I know that now, but that was always my thing.
But then you were like, I'm actually all right. Well,
that was my thing.
Person,
I was like,
but
there's no reason for me to even like I don't have room to talk about it because I didn't get
that you were rationalizing it then. You were rationalizing it being like, it really wasn't that bad. That's not how it works.
I didn't end up in the hospital. I never had a broken bone. It's fine.
But was, just because it wasn't as bad as like this person or this person doesn't mean that it wasn't bad and it wasn't something that you had to deal with and overcome and like,
you shouldn't have had to go through and should have never been treated that way.
Yeah.
No, I know the feeling for sure.
Do you feel like you've had therapy?
I've been through some stuff that like I was like, I put myself in that situation. I used to like, I shame myself constantly.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
it was like
you didn't get yourself there.
Yeah. If I hadn't done this, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, actually the reason why that happened is because I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It's fine.
Well,
we're not. The episode's over.
The episode's over.
It just still says recording.
Yeah. Well, because I have
your funny little snippets.
Yeah. Normally we like hang up and call back, but it's all right. Don't worry. Don't stress about it.
Yeah.
And also Tori's great at editing. She'll just like, I don't know. We curse all the time.
Oh, all the time.
You don't. Okay.
Yeah. She never bleeps us ever.
No.
Yeah. We're like decent. We are not going to get any money from YouTube until
I looked up. I looked up if like. Can you cuss on YouTube? And apparently, like, it's more about in the first few minutes.
Yes.
If you're over the top in the first few minutes, then that's where they have a problem. But if it's just like a word sprinkled
casually,
here and there, you're fine. But if it's like F this, F that, blah, blah, in your intro, you're probably not in a good
you're
place.
Not getting any money. Yeah. But I know, I think it's interesting because I think sometimes mental abuse and being with someone that has those tendencies of like the sociopathic, like I'm just going to put this person down to make myself feel better about myself kind of abuse is definitely undermined sometimes over actual physical altercations and like dangerous situations. But you can almost argue your mental well-being is is just as important. I mean, I've seen women who have killed themselves over an abusive husband that never touched them.
Yeah.
So, but I think that, I think that sometimes we do that where it's like, well, my situation wasn't like this other person's situation, so why do I have anything to say about it? But I don't know. I
Right.
think you're growing and you're getting there and you're being more self-aware, and I think that's great. And yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Have you enjoyed this
Yeah, you're
therapy
welcome.
session?
I have.